In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers began an expedition into the frozen Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. They were young, healthy, well-trained, and fully prepared for one of the most challenging winter journeys of their lives. None of them knew they were about to become part of one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. The group was led by Igor Dyatlov, a 23-year-old engineering student and an experienced mountaineer. Every member of the team had completed difficult expeditions before and understood the dangers of extreme weather. Their destination was Mount Otorten, a remote mountain surrounded by endless forests, deep snow, and freezing temperatures. Before leaving, the group promised to send a telegram once they returned. Their families expected to hear from them within a few weeks. But the message never arrived. As the days passed without any contact, concern slowly turned into fear. Search teams were finally organized and sent into the mountains to find the missing hikers. After several days of searching, rescuers made a disturbing discovery. They found the hikers' tent, partially buried under thick snow on the slope of a mountain. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Warm clothes, food supplies, boots, cameras, and personal belongings were still neatly inside the tent. It looked as if the group had suddenly abandoned everything they owned. Then investigators noticed something that changed the entire case. The tent had been cut open from the inside. Instead of using the entrance, the hikers had escaped by slicing through the fabric and running into the freezing darkness. Outside the tent, investigators found footprints leading away from the campsite. Some footprints were made by people wearing only socks. Others were completely barefoot. The temperature that night had fallen below -30°C. Stepping outside without proper winter clothing would almost certainly lead to death within a short time. The question was terrifying. What could have frightened 9 experienced hikers so badly that they abandoned the safety of their tent, left behind their warm clothes, and ran into one of the coldest nights imaginable? The answer would become even more disturbing. A few hundred meters away, beneath a tall cedar tree, rescuers found the first 2 bodies. They were wearing only light clothing and showed signs that they had desperately tried to build a small fire before freezing to death. The remaining 7 hikers were still missing. And what investigators discovered next would turn this tragic expedition into a mystery that continues to puzzle the world more than 60 years later. Over the following days, search teams continued exploring the mountain. One by one, 3 more hikers were discovered between the cedar tree and the abandoned tent. It appeared that these hikers had been trying to make their way back to the shelter. But they never made it. The remaining 4 hikers were still missing. Nearly 2 months later, after the snow began to melt, rescuers finally found them hidden inside a deep ravine, buried beneath several meters of snow. What they discovered shocked even the most experienced investigators. Unlike the first 5 victims, these 4 hikers had suffered severe internal injuries. One hiker had multiple broken ribs. Another had a fractured skull. One young woman, Lyudmila Dubinina, had suffered unusual post-mortem damage that later became one of the most discussed aspects of the case. Another victim also showed unusual post-mortem changes. Yet strangely, there were almost no major external wounds on their bodies. It was as if an enormous force had caused devastating internal injuries without leaving obvious damage on the skin. The medical examiner later described the injuries as being similar to those seen in high-speed car crashes. But there were no vehicles. No explosions. No signs of another group. No evidence of a violent struggle. Even stranger, traces of radioactive material were later detected on some of the hikers' clothing. No one could explain how it got there. The official Soviet investigation lasted only a few months. When it finally ended, the conclusion confused everyone. According to the report, the hikers had died because of a compelling natural force. No further explanation was given. Soon afterward, the entire investigation was classified. Important documents disappeared. The area was closed to the public. Rumors quickly spread across the Soviet Union. People began asking the same question. What really happened on that freezing mountain? Was it an avalanche? A secret military experiment? An unknown natural phenomenon? Or was there something else hiding in the darkness of Dyatlov Pass? For decades, investigators, scientists, journalists, and mystery enthusiasts from around the world have searched for the truth. Yet even today, no single theory can explain every strange detail found at the scene. The mystery was only beginning. For decades, countless theories have attempted to explain what happened that night. One of the earliest explanations was an avalanche. According to this theory, a sudden wall of snow struck the campsite, forcing the hikers to leave their tent immediately. But many investigators questioned this idea. The slope where the tent stood was relatively gentle, and search teams reported that the tent remained mostly intact. There was also no clear evidence of a massive avalanche covering the campsite. Another theory suggested powerful katabatic winds. These rare winds can suddenly rush down mountain slopes with incredible force, producing terrifying sounds and making survival extremely difficult. Some researchers believe the hikers may have panicked, expecting an avalanche that never actually occurred. Others pointed to a strange phenomenon known as infrasound. Under certain weather conditions, powerful winds flowing around mountains can create extremely low-frequency sound waves. Humans cannot hear these sounds, but they may experience fear, anxiety, confusion, and panic without understanding why. Could this invisible force have driven the hikers out of their tent? Some people believe the answer lies in secret Soviet military experiments. Witnesses reported seeing mysterious orange lights in the sky around the same time. This led to rumors of missile tests or classified military operations. However, no convincing evidence has ever confirmed these claims. Some blamed UFOs. Others spoke of unknown creatures hiding in the mountains. These stories became popular because they sounded exciting. But after decades of investigation, no credible evidence has ever supported either theory. In 2021, scientists revisited the mystery using modern computer simulations and advanced avalanche models. Their research suggested that a small delayed slab avalanche may have forced the hikers to leave their tent. Combined with freezing temperatures, darkness, deep snow, and the difficult mountain terrain, the situation quickly became a desperate fight for survival. Many experts today believe this is the most scientifically supported explanation. Yet even this theory cannot answer every question. Why were some injuries so severe? Unanswered. Today, the abandoned mountain pass carries the name of the expedition's leader. Dyatlov Pass. It stands as a reminder that even in an age of satellites, advanced technology, and modern science, some mysteries continue to resist every explanation. Perhaps one day, the complete truth will finally be discovered. But until then, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in human history.